high school hockey tournament in Rhode Island turned into a scene of chaos and tragedy on Monday afternoon when gunfire erupted inside a crowded arena, leaving multiple people dead and others critically injured. Authorities say the shooting appears to have stemmed from a family dispute unfolding in front of students, parents, and athletes during a live youth sporting event. The incident has sent shockwaves through the local community and across the country, renewing questions about public safety at youth events, domestic violence escalation, and the speed at which family conflicts can turn deadly in public spaces. Here is what authorities have confirmed so far.
Right now is the Pawtucket police received a call at about 2:30 this afternoon that we had an active shooter at Lynch Arena. Upon arrival, police were met with several people obviously inside the arena, and there was 2 casualties within the arena. The suspect was confirmed as one of those casualties. Later on, we learned that another casualty from the shooting was at the hospital, that they succumbed to their injuries after being at the hospital, and there is 3 additional victims at the hospital that all are in critical condition at this time.
On February 16, 2026, gunfire broke out during a high school hockey game at the Dennis M. Lynch Arena in Pawtucket, according to police and eyewitness accounts. Law enforcement officials say a man opened fire in the stands during the game, shooting his wife and 3 children before ultimately dying himself. At least 3 people are dead, including the suspected shooter, and 3 others were hospitalized in critical condition. One of the victims killed at the scene was a young girl, authorities confirmed. Another victim later died at a hospital. The identities of the victims have not yet been publicly released, as officials continue to notify family members. Police have stated there is no ongoing threat to the public and that they are not searching for additional suspects. The shooting took place at approximately 2:30 p.m. inside the Dennis M. Lynch Arena, which serves as the home ice for the Johnson and Wales Wildcats and frequently hosts youth and high school hockey tournaments. At the time of the incident, multiple high school teams from across Rhode Island were participating in games at the arena. Students from Coventry, Johnston, North Providence, North Smithfield, St. Raphael Academy, and Providence Country Day School were all present, either on the ice or in the stands. The game was also being live streamed, meaning portions of the shooting were captured on video and are now part of the official police investigation. Video footage from the live stream and cell phone recordings captured the moment gunshots rang out inside the arena. Witnesses reported hearing approximately 11 shots in rapid succession. On the ice, players initially appeared confused, some believing the sounds were balloons or equipment noises. Within seconds, panic spread as players and coaches realized gunfire was coming from the stands. Athletes were seen jumping over rink barriers, skating or running toward locker rooms, removing skates mid-escape, barricading themselves inside secured areas. Spectators fled the seating area, many dropping belongings and shielding children as they ran. According to multiple witness accounts, a bystander attempted to intervene, wresting a firearm away from the shooter. However, the gunman was reportedly armed with a second weapon, limiting the effectiveness of the intervention. Police Chief Tina Goncalves later confirmed that law enforcement officers did not fire their weapons and were not involved in the suspect's death. Preliminary information suggests the shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, though the incident remains under investigation. While names have not yet been released, police say the shooter was a father, and the victims were members of his immediate family, his wife and children. Officials have described the incident as targeted, emphasizing that the violence does not appear to have been random. This appears to be a family dispute, Chief Goncalves said during a press briefing. We are still gathering information from witnesses, and we want to ensure families are notified before releasing additional details. No players or coaches were physically injured during the shooting, according to school officials and law enforcement. Multiple school districts later confirmed that all their students were accounted for and safe. Local, state, and federal emergency responders arrived at the scene within minutes. The arena was evacuated, and surrounding streets were closed as investigators secured the area. Nearby businesses reported people fleeing into stores to seek shelter. One employee at a nearby pharmacy told reporters that staff locked doors and evacuated customers as 911 calls flooded in. Ambulances transported victims to local hospitals, where 3 people remain in critical condition as of the latest update. Police remained on site for hours collecting evidence, interviewing witnesses, and reviewing video footage from the live stream and arena security cameras. Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee released a statement calling the shooting a horrific tragedy, saying his thoughts were with the victims, families, and students impacted. U.S. Senator Jack Reed described the incident as devastating, emphasizing that families should feel safe at youth sporting events and thanking first responders and the bystander who attempted to stop the shooter. The Rhode Island Interscholastic League, RIIL, announced the temporary suspension of all interscholastic games statewide, citing the need to reflect, support affected communities, and ensure safety. Our thoughts are with the victims, their families, and everyone affected by this senseless act of violence, the league said in a statement. Authorities say the investigation is now centered on the shooter's background, the nature of the family dispute, how the firearm was obtained, the sequence of events leading up to the shooting, whether warning signs were present beforehand. Investigators are also reviewing live stream footage, cell phone videos, eyewitness statements, ballistics evidence. Police have not disclosed whether the shooter legally owned the weapons or whether there were prior restraining orders or domestic incidents related to the family. The shooting is not only about gun violence, it is about domestic disputes escalating into public spaces where children and families gather. Experts note that many mass casualty incidents in the U.S. are rooted in family or intimate partner conflicts rather than random attacks. When those conflicts spill into schools, churches, or sporting events, the consequences multiply. The location also matters. Youth sports venues are typically viewed as safe, community-centered environments. The psychological impact on students who witnessed the violence or were forced to hide from it is expected to be significant. School counselors and crisis response teams are already being deployed across multiple districts to support students, athletes, and families affected by the shooting. As Rhode Island communities begin to process what happened, the focus remains on healing, accountability, and understanding how a family conflict turned a high school hockey game into a scene of devastating violence. That is what we know at this hour. The Signal 247 will continue to follow developments and provide verified updates as more information becomes available.